Hello everybody, and welcome back to this second part of the SC Aviation Bristol to Manchester video. So now we're gonna go ahead and go to the aircraft, so let's go free flight. You have all these liveries. We're gonna fly today with the KLM as it is the only Europe livery. So there it is. Then we go to this settings, and how do you know how much fuel and how much payload weight to load? Well, it's quite easy. You just go to your browser that we had just opened with Simbrick. You remember this from the previous video. And as you can see here in the block fuel section, we have 11,000 pounds of fuel. So we're gonna put that here, 11,307,11. It doesn't have to be exact, but as much as you can. This is okay. A little less fuel, well done. Better more than less. This is good. And then in the payload weight, what you're going to do is that we go here more down. You see here this TOW, that stands for take off weight. So you go to the right, this first column is your actual takeoff weight, and this one is your maximum takeoff weight. So we're gonna take this one. How do you put your takeoff weight? Well, it's very easy. You're gonna move this payload weight like slided button until on the right you see 145.3, sorry, 149.2. This thing right here, this one. So remember, 149.2. Let's take this out and let's move this until we see 149. That's it. So that's our weight center. Center of gravity always 0.05 because you're gonna have quite some problems. Tick out the start with engines running button, save. Then we're gonna put here just our departure position. So we're departing from EGCD, I think it is. No, that's you can search for the airport here. Bristol International, EGGD, here it is. And we are going to start in which position? That's an interesting question. Well, for that, we're going to go to Flight Radar 24. Let's wait for it to load. And once it loads on the map, we're gonna search for Bristol. So if I'm not mistaken, Bristol is right here. Yes, it is. So you go to the airport, click arrivals down at the bottom, and start searching for any KLM flag that you can find because it's the airline we're flying today. So here it is one. You click it or tap it. You go to playback, and once you're in playback, go to the airport and see where they parked. You can also search on the web for the position that these airplanes usually park at, but you can see that they parked here. So we can park there. Or you can also search visually in the map if you see a blue aircraft. That's a KLM aircraft. So we are today, let's fly this position that this little aircraft is having there, because as this is a quite small airport, there is no big problem, but at bigger airports, it's going to be very useful. So this is stand number 2, done. Then you go to your weather. Now here, I have something to explain to you. You can do the real weather that comes in the massive multiplayer right here, and it takes the real weather from the airport that you choose right here. But what happens is that this real weather option, although is very good, it's not yet that good. It doesn't I don't know how to say it. It doesn't update as the weather changes in the airport. It also is sometimes not the same. It also does not simulate the rain. You have to have the sky fully covered in clouds to have rain. Because in real life you don't have to have the full sky covered in clouds. Just you have one cloud that's raining and that's it, and it can rain. So that's why I don't like much this feature. Also, it makes you have to be in the flag literally. That means that if you go to your homepage in Explain and you try to open another app, it's gonna disconnect you from the multiplayer if you pass more than I think it's 3 minutes or so, because it has to be all the time updating. So that's why I don't like much the multiplayer, but of course it has the nice feature of that you can see other people. For example, all these things that you are watching or these circles are real aircraft. So that's nice about multiplayer, but in this case we're not using it for that reason. So following that logic, you then, oh shit, it restarted. Let's go again and search for Bristol International, stand number 2. And the weights saved. Oh yes, they saved. So in this weather page, you have 2 options. First one, to look at your Idle Weather app. As I told you, Idle Weather app. Search for the airport Bristol. Oh god, Bristol. And actually take the information and put it here. But in this case, as one of our followers requested, we're gonna do the flight in fog. So this is gonna be very cool. Now, if you remember from our previous flight, which I think you do, let's go back to Navigraph. The departure at Bristol said that we, sorry, it's not here, yes. Wait, I got lost. It was here in the airport info and takeoff minimums. So you remember that we saw that we needed a minimum runway visual range of 75 meters, as you see here. I cannot make more zoom. So we cannot do very low fog. We need to have at least 75 meters. So let's just take this out for the moment and go again to our browser. You know, you have to do a lot of things. All the things that I'm doing right here on the iPad, you can also make them in your computer, so that you have the iPad fully or the mobile device fully for the flight. But in this case, as I want you to see what I'm doing everything here. So that's what I'm kind of overloading the iPad, I think so. So you're gonna go to converter from meters to nautical miles, as the visibility in Explain is in nautical miles. So we're gonna take 1 meter, sorry, 75 as our chart set, and we're gonna turn it into nautical miles. So that gives us a minimum of 0.04. Well, this is a kilometer. So 75 meters equals to 0.04 nautical miles. So we're gonna put that here, 0.0, well, what? I don't think that's actually the... Nautical miles are 75 meters. Well, it's actually 0.04 nautical miles. Well, I had no idea. So that will be 0.01. I guess that's what that means. 0.01, because it's closer. We're flying today with no wind, no clouds, but the visibility is going to be 0.1. This is going to be very fun. In the time, we could use real world time, but we're not. We're going to just fly at midday. As I told you, the real world time option is very, very nice, but we want to fly at day, so we're going to just pretend it's middle day. You can not do it if you don't want to. And now, save, check, 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 and fly it. Okay, so now I'm going to set up the aircraft. The aircraft setup is going to be very, very interesting, because for that, we're going to be using checklists. We're going to like checklists. Let's wait for it to load right here. I enjoy reading the tips. Professional subscription now includes early access to massive multiplayer. Subscribe today to fly with thousands of other pilots around the world. interesting. Downloading. This is always the most boring part of the videos. You can skip if you want, of course. Come on, load, load, load. 70, 80%, 90%, 95%, 96, 97, 98, 100. And now it's loading, actually. There it is, the click, and we're there. Cool. Now I'm going to go here, go to settings, take the sound is okay, graphics are gonna be at low, because if not this iPad it's gonna explode, trust me. And I think the sound is good. So now we're gonna start our procedures. No, that's too loud. A little bit less. That's now too quiet. That's perfect. So we go to, first we're gonna check gear is down, flaps are up, thrust levers are closed, speed brake is stored, engine mixture levers are stored, and wipers are stored. Once that is done, we can go to the overhead panel. Battery switch comes on, standby power switch comes on, and ground power. Now our aircraft has ground power. Cool. Now what I like to do at this point of the flight is to just check that the aircraft is good. Look outside. Oh, we have a lot of visibility actually. That's not only half nautical mile at all. That's never just that. That's interesting. I don't know why that is happening. What if we say 0? This is interesting, guys. Because vertically you can see completely, but horizontally the visibility reduces a lot. So I don't know what I'm going to do for that. Let's keep it at 0. What if I just click 100? Yes, there you have it. I think it's because of the time of the day, because it's middle day. So for that we can take some clouds. Let's put some clouds at 30,000 feet. So that, and at 45 we're gonna put, yes, like this. That will make it way better. That's what you meant with 0 visibility. I'm sure about it. It's gonna be a completely foggy flight. That's it. Now you go here to your FMC. How are you going to set up the FMC? This is a very important flight. Sorry, a very important part of a flight. You're gonna put here, I'm gonna actually take it on the left, your SimBrief flight plan. And right here where it says routing, this is where we're gonna put. So attention here, route menu, pilot route list, flight plan. Your origin is EGGD, your destination, it's Echo Golf Charlie Charlie. So let's put that in. Flight number, we're KLM flight 546. Execute. Now we're gonna go to, in this first 2 that you can see here, we're gonna put the BCN waypoint. This first one is your SID, your standard instrument departure procedure. So I put the second one, which is BCN. Perfect. Which one? This one. Oh, sorry, it's not there. This one. Good. Next, via the November 864 airway, so we're gonna put that here, November 864 airway, direct to Monty. Then via the, oh, that's it. There ends everything. Okay, so you check, execute. Now in the VNAV page, what we're going to do to select that is we're gonna get rid of SimBrief right here. So we can move it to the right and take it out. And we're actually gonna go to our Navigraph charts or any other app that you use for charts. And we are going to go to the departure. So let's click it. And we're gonna start inputting some things. So you take a look at it and let's see what kind of altitude restrictions we have, speed restrictions. First one, max 250 knots below flight level 100, so that's already there. Second, our transition altitude, you see it here? It's 6,000 feet, so let's put that. Cool. Let's search for other restrictions, altitude restrictions. There are no turns below 1,100, okay. That's good. There are no major restrictions. So we're gonna put the restriction that I always put. It's to maintain 180 knots below 5,000. Let's make it easier. That's gonna make the flight easier to control. And we're gonna climb at 280 knots. So that's set. Then in our cruising speed is always Mach 0.79. This is the best cruising speed for the aircraft. And as you remember on SimBrief from our previous video, the cruising altitude was flight level 240. So we're gonna put that here. Enable cruising altitude, we'll figure that out later. And in the descent, we're gonna check the arrival right here at Manchester. So also Crossley, blah 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 blah, before holding facility. So this means that we have to be at a maximum of 230 knots at this point. So we're gonna input that, but later. That's later, keep that in mind. Now we're gonna go to departures, EGGD, runway 27 we're gonna be using for departure, and we're gonna select the departure. Do you remember which one it is? Right here below, BCN1X-ray, here it is, BCN1X-ray. Execute. Departure arrival index again, arrivals. We're gonna select our arrival. So if you can see here the title of it, where it is, here it is. It's the Mersey-1 Alpha from Bravo. Let's search for it. It's the Mersey. Well, I don't know which one it is. For that, we can just get rid of Navigraph. Go again to our browser. Remember, you can do this all on your PC, and here it is, Mersey-1 Alpha. Take Mersey-1 Alpha, and we're gonna be using the ILS runway 5 left. Transition, it's MCT. Execute. Now our flight is complete. Let's try again flight level 240 for cruising, and now it doesn't say error. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to plan here in the IFIS mode. We're going to reduce the range, and in this view we're going to start clicking steps. So in each waypoint we want to check the altitude and the speed. So speed 180, 591, 180, 3000 or above. This is moving nicely. Flight level 240. Cruising. And then the descent starts 240. So here's a problem. It says first 240 and then 250. That cannot be. So we're gonna set this one to be first 260. Cool. Continue. Oh, wait, here's a discontinuity. What's that? It's normal. You just take the last waypoint, go to your previous page, and put it where the discontinuity is. Now let's go again to our previous page and see if it's working now. So you can see it's now a very smooth turn, perfectly. And do you see that, those strange movements? Yes, I also did. What's that? Vector. Get rid of that. Trust me, you don't want any vectors. Why? Because in real life you have ATC who tells you to do some vector movement. Here you don't have it. So if you keep those, any vector thing in your flight plan is gonna mess it up. Trust me. So let's get rid of that vector. Let's go back again. And if you want to get a more general view of the route, increase the range. Okay, so we're going to do this turn, then later. And what's that? Let's reduce the range. Okay, I don't like that. So that's what you do. You start figuring out some things. So that was the MCT waypoint. Then it takes you there. This is quite interesting. It looks like it's taking us to the airport. Before, let's see which waypoint it's exactly it. After Mersey, it's this one. We have to delete the one that goes after Mersey. MCT goes after Mersey. What is that? I have no idea. So for that, let's go ahead and troubleshoot. It shouldn't be making these strange movements. Now I can see why one of my followers was having trouble, but we can troubleshoot it, trust me. So how is this waypoint called? C05 left. Oh, I see what the problem is. Yep, I do. So for that, we're gonna have to do something. After, I see what it is. So let's go to Navigraph and start seeing them individually. So previous page, Monty is right here. Yes, then goes to Wrexham. Yes, then goes to Wall, makes a right turn direct to Mersey. And on Mersey, we should be heading direct to the what is that? Here you see it was going direct to the Manchester VOR before actually flying the route. That was a problem. So we have to first go. This we have to take it out. Let's first make it fly direct to CF05 left. So put it right where the Manchester VOR was and check how it works now. So you do this, and this, and this. Well, I don't like that little movement, but for that, we can just grab this waypoint next, this one. FF05 left. We're gonna put this right after Mersey, so right here. Now it should work. So let's check. Monty, Wrexham, right turn direct to, Wallace. Well, it's not called Wallace, but I called it. Then right turn direct to Mersey, right turn, and then the ILS. That's it. So our route is checked. You have always got to do this to check that your route is good. How? Remember, in the FIS mode, in the flight plan. Now go back to map, reduce the range again, go to legs, and on your Secor FMC, check that in the progress page you have this thing called top of descent with your respective distance and ETA. So we have them. That's cool. Now, let's go to actually setting up the aircraft. So we can get rid of Navigraph now. I'm going to do this setup very quickly. I'm going to link also somewhere over up here. Is going to be the card for the last video about how to set up. So I'm going to do this. fast, but if you want to follow me, let me open my Google Photos. Something, that's not me, don't worry. This checklist. So, we're gonna follow them later. For now, I'm gonna keep practicing. So, fuel times come on. Seat belts. Window heat. Probe. APU. Here we're gonna put the cruising altitude, which is 24,000 feet. Cool, doesn't have to be exact. Here we're gonna start the APU. Make some tests here. Good. This is working. Stall test. That's working. Okay, so our overhead panel is tested. Steady legs to ensure that everybody knows that there is somebody on the aircraft. Disengage and then again connect the autopilot. Flight director, auto throttle, BNAV, LNAV. This is our first altitude. Bank angle 25 degrees. In the course and in the heading, we're gonna put the initial heading of the runway we're gonna be taking off from. So let's go to our airport info. Runway heading for runway 27 is 267. 267, also here. 267. And 267. That's perfect. Auto brakes RTO. And in the radio zone here, we're gonna select Bristol liver, which is 121.930. 121. I think the closer is 90. Yes. Then Bristol Tower, so 133.85. 133.85. Here it is. Our squawk code can be anyone. And more or less here, while our airplane is set up, and you can see that the APU is running because we now have power from the APU. Disconnect ground power. Let's take our checklist. So, parking brake. Set. Oxygen. Check. Navigation transfer display switches are these ones right here. Normal and auto. Window heat is on. Pressurization is auto and set. Terrain display, we don't have terrain display. MCP, this is this panel right here. That is set. Displays check. Standby flight instruments check. Auto brake. RTO. Fuel quantity and distribution, we have 11.4 pounds. That was what our flight plan required us to have, so that's perfect. CDU, it's checked. This is the FMC. Engine start leaders, cutoff, transponder, TARA. Aileron and trim 0 and 0. Departure briefing is completed, as we have already followed the route. Fasten belts on. APU is on buses. Fuel panel and AML and flight from that for airlines. We don't have that. So before start, checklist complete. At this point, we're gonna make our clearance call. There is no ATC in the simulator, but I'm gonna simulate it. So I'm gonna be the pilot and also the ATC. So what would you say here? You will press your push to talk button and they say something like Bristol Tower, KLM 546 requesting IFR clearance to Manchester Airport. And then they will answer something like KLM 546 clear to Manchester Airport as file, climb maintain flight level 240, squawk 2471, report ready for push and start. And then you'll say clear to Manchester International as file, climb maintain flight level 240, squawk 2471, and we'll call ready for push and start, KLM 546. So let's put our flag, our squawk code 24, I just took this squawk code randomly. Cool. So, at this point, we go to our before start checklist below the line. So probe heat is on. Hydraulic panel is set. Doors and windows are closed and locked, and anti-collision light goes on. So we are ready for push and start, guys. We're gonna call tower, as this airport doesn't have ground. So let's change and say Bristol Tower KLM 546 stand 2, ready for push and start. There's a KLM 546, clear for push and start, report ready to taxi. Clear for push and start, report ready to taxi, KLM 546. Get rid of the checklist. Make sure all pumps are on, not the center ones because we don't have touch much fuel. Make a last check on how the systems are set. That's good, that's good. Let me do some checks here. That's perfect. So let's go ahead and make our push. So we're gonna doing a left push. Okay, push car coming, good. We haven't selected the altimeter. That goes here where it says standard because we're not flying with real weather, but you should if you are. So that's a little note there. Why do we have with fuel warning here? Because we haven't started the engines yet. That's perfectly normal, guys. Let's turn on the local lights, wing lights, and wheel well, as there is very low visibility here in this airport. Where is our push cart? It should be somewhere. Let's see if we can see him. Oh, there it is. He's gonna say something like, please release your parking brake. Hey, and your brakes off. Starting push. So, starting engine number 2. N2 is rising. N1 is rising. N225 ignition. Check the engine performance. Start switch cutoff. Spark valve open. Good start on engine number 2, starting engine number 1. N2 is rising, N1 is rising, N225 ignition. Oil pressure is engine start switch cutoff. Let's wait for the oil pressure. Oil pressure is alive and rising. Spark valve open. And let's check that everything's good. No excessive money. Yeah, that's good. So, after start items, we connect the electricity, the bleeder, take away the APU. We can shut down the APU now. Engine start switch to continuous. Flaps 5. And as there must be freezing outside with this fog, our push is finished now. Parking brake. And let's run through our after start checklist. Anti-ice on, definitely on, because it has to be very cool outside. Generators are on. Air conditioning and blitz are set. We're running on the engines. Recall, this is the recall. This, we don't have anything. Flight controls. So at this point, go to an outside view. I'm gonna have to speak louder here. And check elevator, full up, center, full down, center, aileron, full left, center, full right, center, rudder, full right, center, full left, center. And guys, this is the end of this second part of the video, the pre-flight parts. Wait for the third part as we're gonna be taking off and climbing on this very, very, very nice Bristol to Manchester flight. See you all, bye bye.